So if you're in business leadership, I mean, especially today, you know the big
Oh,
challenge, right?
absolutely.
It's how do you take AI from this fire hose of buzzwords and general hype
Hmm.
and turn it into something that actually delivers, real measurable value.
It's the question everyone was asking back in early 2024.
Right. And most companies were just sort of experimenting, cautiously at the edges,
Very cautiously.
but not Tecnet.
No, they took a very different path.
And we're opening the vault on their journey today. This is a company that decided to lead from the inside out.
Treating themselves like a client first, it's a brilliant move.
It really is. So our mission in this deep dive is, well, it's simple. We're looking for the blueprints, the exact tools, the cultural levers they pulled to make this work.
So if you need that shortcut to what real AI transformation looks like, this is it.
This is definitely it.
And that internal commitment you mentioned, that's the absolute bedrock of their success. The whole journey started with a really clear strategic mandate.
From the CEO, Matthew Van Heist.
Yes, back in early 2024. And his vision was very specific. It wasn't just about systems. He wanted to make AI work for people.
Augmenting human capabilities.
Precisely. And this wasn't just some, corporate idealism. He laid out three non-negotiable requirements for this to be a success.
Okay, what were they?
AI had to be secure. It had to be practical, like in a day-to-day sense. And it had to be measurable.
So if they couldn't prove the ROI,
The initiative just didn't proceed. Simple as that. No room for experimental vanity projects.
that's at a very pragmatic stage.
It does.
Yeah.
And to enforce that rigor, they knew they couldn't just, toss it over to the IT department.
Right.
They immediately formed a cross-disciplinary AI leadership team.
And the composition of that team is key, isn't it?
It's critical. It wasn't siloed. It brought together voices from strategy, data governance, legal, innovation, making sure everything they built was defensible and aligned from day one.
Okay, so let's unpack that foundational stage. Before they bought a single license or wrote any code, they asked this really fundamental question.
How ready are we really for AI?
Exactly. And the goal wasn't just to get a grade, like a report card. It was about actively building that readiness from the ground up.
That self-assessment became their customized AI readiness framework.
And what's so interesting is they didn't try to reinvent the wheel here.
No, why would you? They were smart about it. They based their model on established best practices, pulling inspiration directly from, the industry gold standards.
So we're talking NIST and Microsoft's responsible AI principles.
Exactly. And that instantly gave them this strong, defensible position on governance. They were building their guardrails based on proven models.
So what did this framework actually measure?
It assessed three crucial interconnected pillars.
Okay.
First, there was strategy maturity. So, do we even know where AI fits in our 5-year plan?
Right. Is this just a shiny object or part of the core plan?
Second was data governance maturity. This one's huge. Do we trust our data? Can we track its use responsibly?
And the third.
Workforce maturity.
Mm-hmm.
Are our people ready? Are they skilled and confident enough to actually adopt these tools?
Because you can't succeed if you fail in any one of those three areas.
You really can't. They all have to work together.
Which points directly to the need for, technical fluency. They had to know what they were working with.
Right, and the sources note a really critical partnership here with TD-SYNNX.
To get up to speed on specific Microsoft tools.
It was a very clear tech stack commitment.
Yeah.
They focused on Microsoft, Copilot, Azure OpenAI, and Purview.
That seems like a very strategic choice. Why those three specifically?
Well, the tools map directly to those three needs we just talked about. Copilot handles that immediate workforce productivity boost. That's the practical pillar.
Okay.
Azure OpenAI lets them build the custom applications. That's the measurable pillar.
And Purview.
Purview is the engine of the secure pillar.
Yeah.
It's so critical. For anyone who's not familiar, it's not just a checklist.
It's more than that.
Yeah, it acts as a centralized data map. It's a guardrail system. It tells you where your sensitive data is and make sure the AI tools don't misuse it.
Without that, enterprise AI is just way too risky to deploy broadly.
Way too risky. So with the framework and tool set, they had to translate it into action for their staff.
So how did they do that?
They moved straight from assessment to enablement. The findings from their readiness framework were translated directly into a menu of practical training programs.
Things they could offer internally first, and then, I guess, externally later.
Exactly. Things like AI discovery workshops, deep dive prompt engineering sessions.
Teaching people how to actually talk to the machine.
Right. And, crucially, data governance enablement, making sure everyone understood the new rules of the road. It was a clear structure. Assess, educate, and then act.
And this is where the story for me really shifts from preparation to action. In late 2024, they turned the mirror inward.
Hmm,
They launched their own internal AI discovery and enablement program. They basically treat their own company like its first client.
exactly. They wanted to find all the friction points internally before a client ever could.
So what did that pilot program look like? The details are pretty compelling
They deployed 14 Copilot licenses. Now that sounds like a small number,
for a large organization, yeah.
but the key was where they deployed them. Highly strategic teams where the impact would be most visible. Project managers, technical writers, sales support.
So it's not about covering everyone at once. It's about covering the right people to prove the concept.
That's it. And beyond just usage metrics, they ran company-wide surveys and these targeted workshops on prompt engineering and responsible AI use.
So it wasn't just a tech rollout. It was like a psychological intervention.
That's a great way to put it. They were measuring comfort, confidence, perceived utility.
And the adoption was fast.
It was incredibly fast.
Mm.
The initiative turned curiosity into a company-wide movement. Their own metric for success here is, it's just astonishing.
Over 80% of staff participated within weeks.
80% within weeks. That tells you there was this massive pent-up demand for the tools.
As long as they came with the right governance and structure.
Yes, that 80% figure is maybe the single most important metric in this whole story because it confirms the culture was ready. They minimized the fear by building the guardrails first.
But high initial participation is one thing. Sustaining it is another challenge entirely.
True. So to keep that momentum going, they formalized it. They created a cross-departmental AI community of practice.
How many people joined that?
It grew to 38 committed members.
Mm-hmm.
And this ensured that what started as a pilot became this ongoing decentralized conversation about AI across every single function.
And that's the key cultural bridge right there, turning that specialized knowledge into shared best practices for everyone.
Hmm.
So now we get to the really good part, the actual measurable impact.
Right. AI moves from being this abstract concept to generating concrete business outcomes.
The internal AI team starts building production-ready tools.
Yeah, and this is where the aha moment started turning into, well, real value. Their most impressive internal development was something called the semantic analysis engine.
Okay, let's break that down. What does that tool actually do?
It ingests over 2,500 support tickets every single month.
Okay.
And instead of a person manually reading and tagging them all, the engine analyzes the language, the semantics, to spot emerging trends.
So it can find process gaps or maybe flag training opportunities for the staff?
Exactly. Automatically. It created a system of continuous improvement they just couldn't have achieved manually before. It became the core of their service intelligence.
And the impact is really in the speed, I assume.
It's the speed and the accuracy. Before, finding a new systemic issue might take weeks of someone aggregating reports. Now, it's instantaneous.
And that frees up high-value technical staff to actually solve problems instead of just looking for them.
You got it. And they applied this idea across the board, not just in IT support.
The sources list a few other tools, right? Like the Project Charter Assistant.
Yep, which drafts foundational project documents incredibly fast. Then there's the RFP analyzer.
Which is like a smart assistant for procurement documents.
It saves days of manual review. And an SOP chatbot, so employees can get instant answers without digging through shared drives.
Just taking the drudgery out of routine work.
That's the goal. And to make sure these tools got used, they introduced AI champions in every department.
And these weren't necessarily the most technical people?
No, not at all. They were the trusted communicators. Their job was to encourage experimentation, share their own success stories, and just build confidence among their colleagues.
Peer-to-peer influence, not just a mandate from the top.
That's what drives real adoption. But the core takeaway here, the most transformative part of the whole journey, it wasn't technological.
It was cultural.
It was absolute cultural. By focusing on that workforce maturity pillar, AI literacy became a shared competency across the entire company.
Not just for the IT department.
Not at all. There's this great little anecdotal quote they captured that just sums it all up.
What was it?
During a routine team meeting, the whole mindset shift was confirmed when someone just asked, very casually, should we let Copilot handle that?
That's powerful. It means AI went from being this scary external thing.
Or an experimental toy.
Right. To just being a normal, integrated part of their daily problem-solving toolkit. It's not an AI tool anymore. It's just a tool.
Precisely. They normalized the capability,
Yeah.
and that is the hardest part of any enterprise transformation.
So, with all this internal success, what did that mean for Tecnet's position in the broader industry?
Well, having proven their model was secure, practical, and measurable, they could start showcasing that leadership. They turned that hard-won internal knowledge into a marketable service.
They established themselves as thought leaders in 2025.
And their external validation came really quickly. In 2025, they were invited to present at the Rising Economy Conference.
That was with Pacificon, right? On an Ask Me Anything About AI panel.
Yeah, and it gave them a platform to highlight their balanced security-first approach.
Yeah.
But I think the bigger proof point was the invitation to the global TD-SYNX Destination AI event. I mean, they were one of only 3 Canadian companies invited to that, and they were specifically asked to share their lessons on governance and security.
So people weren't asking them how to use AI, they were asking them how to govern it.
That's the key distinction.
Yeah.
That invitation validates the rigor of their entire framework.
And they also showed the framework was scalable, right? With that nonprofit engagement?
They did. They helped a BC nonprofit assess its own readiness, map out opportunities, and create a roadmap. It proved the model was replicable for any organization.
So the conclusion here is pretty unambiguous. That internal project from 2024 has grown into a full-fledged AI transformation practice.
Organically, yeah.
Yeah.
Their credibility is completely rooted in the fact that they tested, learned, and scaled everything on themselves first.
And you can see that experience reflected directly in the services they offer now.
Oh, absolutely. They have 13 specialized AI services, all built from that real-world trial and error.
It includes the original stuff like the discovery workshops and prompt engineering training.
But it also expands into these high-value services, born from their own success. Things like AI agent development, rigorous data governance consulting.
And building out customized AI risk and policy frameworks, all things they had to build for themselves first.
So ultimately, the key takeaway for you, listening, is that Tecnet defined responsible innovation. They made security foundational, they let governance guide them, and they were relentless about measurable business outcomes.
It's a model that proves the most successful transformation practices come from. Well, from eating your own dog food, basically.
Test it, learn from it, and scale it internally before you ever try to sell it.
Tecnet proved that successful AI adoption requires shifting the collective mindset. They made AI literacy a shared skill across 80% of their staff in just weeks. So if cultural transformation and that kind of decentralized skill building are the real keys to enterprise AI success, what essential steps should your organization take today to prepare every single employee for the AI-enabled future? That's your deep dive homework.